Let's talk to Nadine Dorries, former Conservative Culture Secretary and the author of the book The Plot, The Political Assassination of Boris Johnson. Nadine, very good evening. Were you surprised by today's announcement?
Well, I wasn't surprised today because I heard at about 8 o'clock last night that it was likely. But I have to admit that when I was told, I thought, yeah, we've been here before. You know, there's been a lot of rumours and wild speculation surrounding what has been happening within Number 10 in terms of when they were going to call an election. So I didn't actually believe it. But, as you know, it started very early this morning and it's been mounting all day. And I think we were all pretty much aware by about 11 a.m. that it was definitely going to happen. So am I surprised? Yes. I think everybody is. I'm sure your phone is very similar to mine because the big question is why? We know that he started ramming in letters of no confidence when they got wind of it about mid-morning because it's the last thing they want. And I just don't, it's difficult for MPs to understand because in their mind, and, quite rightly so, it has until January, actually. And there is no great love out there for Labour. Nobody actually loves Keir Starmer. And there was every possibility that something could happen between now and then. And we've been 20 points behind for a long time. So I know it's a lot of people, it's inconceivable that we could fall any further than 20 points behind. So there's a lot of confused thought at the moment amongst MPs, particularly ones I'm speaking to. Well, why has he done this now? Why didn't he just wait until after the summer recess and then look at what was happening in terms of the economy, the headroom to make fiscal announcements during the budget? Nobody can quite understand why he's done it now. I think that's one of the problems.
What's your theory?
So I think, I'm going to check my Twitter feed. I either tweeted it or wrote it in my Daily Mail column, or maybe it's in the plot. I'm not sure how to check tonight, but I wrote a while ago, there is no way, I think it is on my Twitter feed, there is no way that Rishi Sunak is going to stay in the UK throughout the summer. I just couldn't see him sat in Number 10, preparing for an autumn election with his wife and his children. And, if you knew what the flat in Number 10 was like, I can tell you it is no luxury. You've got loudspeakers blasting through the windows 24 hours a day. Would he want to do that? This man's richer than the king. And the one thing I know about Rishi Sunak is how much he loves the sun and his holidays. So was he really going to stay here throughout the summer with his two young children? I just never saw that happening. I never saw him staying throughout the summer.
I'm told you tweeted this afternoon that the American school term starts on August the 1st, which was a bit of an acidic tweet pointed in his direction because the rumour is that he'll be off to America.
I'm just literally pointing out that American schools do start after Labour Day on August the 1st. So, who am I to speculate? I don't know, but I just think it's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? And, I don't know. But I know there are a lot of Conservative MPs who are very shocked today and tonight. They haven't had time to prepare their campaigns. They were preparing for October, November. When Rishi Sunak said the second half of the year, they genuinely took him at his word and thought that he meant October, November, December, because you would do. They didn't think he meant just by a few days, by 4 days into July. So there are a lot of angry MPs tonight. They weren't ready. They're not election ready. And it's quite upsetting. But, David was quite right. It's Labour's to lose. It is going to be a pretty nasty, everyone, you and I have done loads of elections, over the years. This will be the first one I won't be on the streets for since you're longer than me. I wasn't.
So you're not going to campaign for the re-election of a Conservative government?
Probably not out the streets for myself. Standing for election. I'll be certainly going to help friends, people like Leonici and Grimsby and others. I'll definitely be going out to help them. And the Stoke-on-Trent MPs. I'll be throwing in where I can. But it's Labour's to lose because there is no great love for. He is not Tony Blair. That music today and that complete washout of announcement with Rishi Sunak stood on the steps of Number 10, absolutely drowned out both by the rain and by the music. It's
Well, it was symbolic, wasn't it?
It was very symbolic. It was a washout. a bit like his time as Prime Minister.
And will you be voting Conservative?
Yeah, I've always voted Conservative. You know, it's just...
That doesn't quite answer the question.
So, yes, you know, there are a lot of people in this election who will be staying at home and sitting on their hands, and that will... And I understand the reasons why they're doing it, and I've spoken to a lot of people who will be doing that, and I understand why they're doing it. It's going to be like 2005. You'll know at the top of your head the percentage of people who sat at home in 2005. And in 97, Conservative voters will not go out and vote. I've heard from so many people who said they actually will not... the only way they can pay the Conservative Party back for what they did is by staying at home and voting with their feet. They went out and voted in 2019 in huge numbers for Boris Johnson. He was removed by a cabal of people in Number 10, including Rishi Sunak, Dominic Cummings, Dougie Smith and others. And, you know, these people are the silent majority and they will stay at home. I will go out and vote because, you know, it's just one person who won more vote, but I assume I will. I haven't really made up my mind yet, but, you know, I assume I will. But the problem is that so many Conservative voters are going to stay at home.
That is quite something. That is quite something for a former Conservative cabinet minister to say, only, 18 months after leaving cabinet, to say that she's not wholly sure that she will be voting Conservative at the next election. I can't remember anyone in that position saying that before an election before.
Yeah, I will vote Conservative. You know, I couldn't put my cross next to anybody else's name, and I won't not to vote. Being a woman, that's, you know, a point of principle. I will go out and vote. But
do you think it is going to be a wipeout?
Oh, anything can happen in the next, how many weeks is it? 6 weeks? 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So who knows?
Somebody's pointing out Labour Day in America is actually the beginning of September, not the beginning of August. But I think we know the point that you were making.
Yeah. No, I know. Okay. I know the semesters in America start in August, not in September. I thought it was after Labor Day. So,
Nadine, thank you very much.